Hi readers, welcome back to my channel. Lee here, and it is cold here in North Carolina today. So later on, after I do my chores, I'm going to start a fire and read for a little bit. But first, let's book haul. Yeah, 2024 is not starting off as well as I'd hope with my resolution to not buy as many books. So I went online the other day at the Barnes & Noble to buy online, pick up in store, and I was looking for this book, Unsinkable by Jenni Walsh, but they did not have it despite the fact that it was released on January 9th. So I ordered it from Amazon, and then I'll show you in a second what I had to buy from Barnes & Noble. In Unsinkable, this is about Violet Jessup, who survives, not only survives a shipwreck, but also two sinkings, one on the Titanic. No one could understand why she would return to sea, but something keeps drawing her back. Two people, two timelines. Is it two timelines? Okay. I know why I picked this book up. This is inspired by the true stories of Violet Jessup and the 39 women of the Special Operations Executive. Two unsinkable women, two stories of survival, family, and finding one's own happiness. This is going to go up on the read soon pile because I'm really into the SOE this year. And I'm looking forward to this. So anywho, since I didn't have that at the Barnes & Noble, I picked up the London Bookshop Affair, which is not a World War II book. This is a novel about the Cold War, so it does have some World War II connection. Two timelines, gotta love it. London 1962 and France 1943, which is towards getting close to the end of the war. Undercover agents, women agents, and protecting state secrets. So again, really excited. I hope that this is a good book. Next, something completely different from anything that I've else in this pile, and that is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, which seems like a really fun book. It gives me a Bookshops and Bone Dust vibe. This is by Kimberly, Lemming, and there are two other books. Anywho, Spice Trader Cinnamon's quiet life is turned upside down when she ends up on a quest with a fiery demon in this irreverently quirky rom-com fantasy that is sweet, steamy, and funny as hell. So this looks like it will be a great, light, palate cleanser read whenever I get around to it. I loved Bookshops and Bone Dust. It was fresh and fun, so I'm hoping that this one is as well. Different authors. Next up is the second in a series, that is Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. I've got book one around here somewhere. I couldn't find it this morning when I was looking for it. Again, this is a little fantasy romance involving fairies, which I love, and I will get to this probably after I find the first book. Next up, I'm obviously easily influenced. So one of my friends on Goodreads was reading this book, and since it's about World War II, I picked up Nazi Paris, The History of an Occupation, 1940 to 1944. And this is definitely one, although the print is kind of fine, this is definitely one that I will be reading this year. Where did I put my read book? Okay. I will be reading this year and adding it to my personal learning. On Friday, I did a author spotlight video on Rob White, and while I was preparing for that video, I started reading up a little bit on Rob White, and I remembered that he had a daughter. I had looked this up before, that he had a daughter named Bailey White, and that she also was an author. And I am pretty sure that my mother had this book. I looked through my own database of books, and I don't have a copy of it, but I do now, and that's Mama Makes Up Her Mind by Bailey White. When I read this, it will kind of be like an homage to Rob White and also to my mom, because this is the kind of thing that my mom loved. She loved Southern fiction and Southern eccentricity. Sorry. Had a blonde moment there. Anywho, I probably won't read this anytime soon, but I might make it this year if I can get my shit together. Again, easily influenced. Sadie Hartman, aka Mother Horror, did a post on Patreon about books about dolls. And I think I bought 3 or 4 books that she shared. This next one is one of them, but here's the secret. My sister absolutely despises dolls. She finds them very creepy, so naturally, anytime I find a creepy picture of a doll or a creepy doll, I'll snap a picture of it and send it straight to her. Love you. Anywho, this is a doll book. This House of Small Shadows by Adam Nevill. I've not read any of Adam Neville's other stuff, although I do have a couple of his books. So, this is about Catherine, whose last job ended badly, and now she has a challenging new project to catalog the late M.H. Mason's wildly eccentric cache of antique dolls and puppets. That sounds awesome. But she also gets to examine his elaborate displays of posed, costumed, and preserved animals depicting bloody scenes from the Great War. She gets invited to stay at the Red House itself. She maintains the collection until his niece exposes her to the dark message behind her uncle's art. This really, really looks good, and I can't wait to read this. Next up, I ordered this after I finished The Kill by Allison Brennan a few days ago. This is actually the second in the trilogy. I started with the third, but these are standalone, so it's not going to matter. I'll just read them backwards. This is another palate cleanser book. I found The Kill to be a little eye-rolly when it came to like Hollywood stuff, as in, when I say Hollywood, I mean like very dramatic murder scenes and action scenes and very dramatic love stories that are kind of, you know, unbelievable. However, it's still a good read. Next up, I ordered from Bookshop.org. One of the books that I ordered will be coming in tomorrow, I believe, but I didn't want to wait to do a book haul. I'm sure I'll have more books come in before my next book haul. So I chose 3 books from Bookshop.org. I think I had like a coupon or a percent off or something like that. The first one is A Boy's Own Story, a novel by Edmund White. This is a book I heard about from supposedly Fun, and Greg mentioned this. This is a spellbinding story of one boy's coming of age during the 1950s and one of the most groundbreaking portrayals of gay life in American fiction. Ridiculed by his classmates and beset by aloof parents and a cruel sister. This sounds like horror, doesn't it? The unnamed narrator of Edmund White's first autobiographical novel finds solace in literature, works of art, and his own fantastic imagination. But as he strives to forge new friendships, his yearning to be loved by the men in his life evokes a crushing sense of shame and a struggle to accept who he is. So this sounds like it's going to be an interesting read and maybe a heartbreaking one. Next up, I do like a novel with the North Carolina connection, and that's what the Heiress has. And I'm going to put my glasses on for this. When Ruby McTavish Callahan Woodward Miller Kenmore dies, that's a lot of names, so you know she's rich, and it does say, She's not only North Carolina's richest woman, she's also its most notorious. The victim of a famous kidnapping as a child and a widow 4 times over, Ruby ruled the tiny town of Tavistock from Ashby House, her family's estate high in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Then she dies, and in the aftermath, her adopted son Camden wants nothing to do with the house or the money. He settles into a normal life as an English teacher in Colorado and marries a woman just as eager to escape her own messy past. 10 years later, his uncle's death pulls Cam and Jules back into the family fold at Ashby House. And as Ashby House tightens its grip on Jules and Camden, questions about the infamous heiress come to light. Was there any truth to the persistent rumors following Ruby's disappearance as a girl? What really happened to those 4 husbands who all died under mysterious circumstances? And why did she adopt Cam in the first place? Soon, Jules and Cam realize that an inheritance can entail far more than what's written in a will, and that the bonds of family stretch far beyond the grave. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Yeah. I flipped through the first couple pages and there's already mention of a changeling. This is getting read real soon. In fact, I'm going to just put it right there. Next up, I think I was just trying to order more than 1 or 2 books, so I got You Only Call When You're in Trouble by Stephen McCauley. This guy has spent a lifetime taking care of his impossible but irresistible sister. That's kind of a tongue twister. Anywho, he tries to get past it, but naturally his phone rings, and his niece is embroiled in a Title IX investigation at the college where she teaches that threatens her career and relationship. And after decades of lying, his sister wants him to help her tell Cecily the real identity of her father. Tom answers the call, and we'll find out what happens next. Okay, I've got 2 final books for this book haul, but first I want to talk a bit about something else. I've had this next book, not part of the book haul. I've had this for a year or 2, and the only reason I haven't read it is because I'm afraid that I will buy every book mentioned in Paperbacks from Hell by Grady Hendrix. Paperbacks from Hell is the twisted history of 70s and 80s horror fiction, and I grew up with 70s and 80s horror fiction, and I love it, love it, love it. So again, I'm afraid that I might buy every book mentioned in here, but because I don't know if you can see this, but the covers are so awesome. Maybe I'll pace myself and read a chapter at a time, make a chapter a month, and that way I don't spend it all, buy them all at one time. But even if I don't get around to reading this anytime soon, Grady Hendrix, it seems, is determined to make me buy books, because he tweeted last week about Graham Masterton. It was Graham Masterton's, I need to slow down, folks. I'll work on that. Grady Hendrix tweeted last week on Graham Masterton's birthday about several books of his, but 2 that intrigued me are, I'll start with the re-release with the new cover. I really wanted the old cover, and I may still go get a copy of the old cover, but this one shipped faster and it was cheaper. And that is The Hell Candidate, which was originally written in 1980. I think it was published in 1981. And then it was re-released in 2018 with this cover. Again, I really wanted the other cover because 70s and 80s horror covers were fabulous. You'll see one in a minute. let me see. There's a great, I won't read this first paragraph on the back because it's a little spicy. But there was a great blurb. Anywho, the Hell candidate apparently has 2 dongs, but it doesn't say this on this cover. When businessman Hunter Peel decided to run for president of the USA, they said he didn't have a chance in hell. But they were wrong. Initially, he seemed pleasant and moderate, but then everything started to change. As his popularity grew, so did his ability to influence people, sending them weeping to their knees and seeing sights which no cameras could capture. And what of his opponents and the strange accidents which befell them? Indeed, Hunter Peel was not the man he once was. One of the denizens of hell has made a pact with him, and on his inauguration, all hell will be let loose. Literally. So, the final book, and also one that Grady Hendrix tweeted about, and that is featured in Paperbacks from Hell, is Feast. And look, this is what I love. So this is the front cover, and then you open it up, and all those children are in the cauldron. And I'm looking forward to reading this one as well. Tiny, picture-perfect Allan's Corners in rural Connecticut had a secret. A terrible, unimaginable secret. A secret that only the children knew. It fed on their youth, ate away their innocence, consumed their very souls with a twisted hunger that can never be revealed nor ever sated. Le Repoussoir? ? In Allan's Corners was not on restaurant critic Charlie McLean's itinerary, but since he had his son Martin with him, he was in the mood to try something different. Le Repoussoir, as it turned out, was not interested in Charlie's patronage or in getting a 4-star rating in Restaurants and Inns of America. Martin, however, was another matter. His tender youth would be just right for what they had in mind. Feast. I love this cover. I love everything about it. I can't wait to read this. It makes me, again, want to buy the original Hell candidate cover as well. And I probably will at some point. Anyway. So, that's my book haul. I think that's everything that I got this past week. I am sure I'll do another book haul soon. I really need to book haul my own books and then share them with you. But, we'll see what happens. That's all for me. I will be back with the author spotlight later this week. And we'll talk about 2 comfort reads for me and 2 of my favorite authors that will just, it's set in stone. They're not going to change. Happy reading!